Today I look at the Zhiyun Crane 2S. Earlier in the year, Zhiyun updated their Crane 2 to the Crane 2S, and recently they got in contact and asked if I'd like to try it out. As I do suffer with G.A.S, or gear acquisition syndrome, I jumped at the chance. I do a lot of filming for these tutorials, and also sometimes I'll have a videography client as well. So I do use gimbals on a daily basis. This gimbal has all of the normal modes you'd expect of gimbals nowadays. These are the locked off mode, so it keeps its position no matter what. Then you have pan only, where you can turn the camera left or right, but it holds the horizon flat and in the same place in your frame. You also have pan and tilt, where you can move the camera left, right, up and down, but the horizon will stay level. You also have POV, where all axes are activated. This is where you can get really creative with these gimbals, and you could almost make it look like you're flying. Another creative one is the vortex mode. This always seems to make me dizzy, but it does look quite cool. This gimbal was really smooth in this mode. And if you're a vlogger, there's the selfie mode as well. All three motors have a locking switch on them, and these locking switches are quite beefy. So if you do have a big camera on this gimbal, it will hold it really steadily. Now these locks really do help when you're balancing the gimbal, because you can lock off 2 of the 3 axes, and then you can work on one axis at a time. Now I came from the Crane 1, which is this old thing. There's no locks or anything on it at all, but I've had this for probably 5 years, maybe 6 years, and it's done me well. It's never broken and it's never failed me. So in starting to use a gimbal with lockable motors, I sometimes leave them locked. With this gimbal, if you leave the locks on, it tells you by sounding an alarm and putting a message on the back screen. It also switches off the motors automatically. Now this actually is a really good feature if you keep the gimbal in your bag and maybe something presses against the on button and inadvertently turns it on. Instead of those motors burning out and heating up, what it'll do is sound the alarm and then shut the motors down. So there's no worry of burning out the motors if the gimbal is in your bag. When it comes to mounting points, there's a 1/4-20 thread on the bottom for that little tripod, and then there's 2 rosette style 1/4-20 threads on the sides, so you can mount a monitor or your phone on either side quite easily. There is also this part above the controls that is a mounting point for this handle accessory. The motors also have plenty of power and clearance, with the back motor in the 45-degree position, with the A7 III and the Tamron 17-28mm fully balanced on it. There is 7.5 centimeters from the base to the bottom motor. There is about 7 centimeters from the 45-degree motor to the back of the camera. And for cameras like the A7 III or smaller, the flex mount can be pushed all the way in. When you extend that flex mount out fully, there is 11.5 centimeters from the side of the upright to the center of the mounting plate. So it can accommodate much bigger cameras like the Canon 1DX2, the Panasonic S1H, and the Blackmagic 6K Pocket Cinema camera. It also has removable batteries. It takes 3 18650 batteries which are readily available, and one set of 3 batteries reportedly lasts 12 hours. Like the Zhiyun Crane 2, it has the focus wheel on the side. When paired up with the focus zoom control motor, you can control your focus, or if you use a zoom lens, the zoom as well. This was very much a plug and play accessory. All I had to do was connect it up and it worked right out of the box. However, this isn't great with fly-by-wire lenses, so manual focus lenses are the preferred option if you do want to pull focus manually. So it does have a few standout features as well. It has, in here, a quick release mechanism built into this lower plate. So you have this point on the bottom, and you've got some 1/4-20 threads on the bottom where you could put a quick release plate here, and it means that you don't have to balance it every single time you take your camera off and on again. So this just slots back into place. Now if you don't like that system, there's a few other ways that you can change your camera over to a tripod or a slider. The second one is here. So you pull that out, and that is compatible with most videography Manfrotto heads. So that'll sit on your tripod head. The only downside to this one is you'll have to balance it back up when you put it back on your gimbal. So I'd have it set up like this. I've got the Manfrotto plate in place, I've balanced everything up, and I've got this quick release plate here. And this connects up to my L bracket on my Arca Swiss plate there. And all I need to do, slide that in, tighten that up, and it's ready to go. Now a quick tip here for pretty much any gimbal, if your gimbal allows it, is to push your camera all the way over so it's basically touching on this side. If you do that and it's balanced like that and you use a quick release system like I do here, like this Arca Swiss plate, if I undo it and take it off, I can put this on different things, so on my tripod and on my slider, and then when I come to put it back on, I literally slide it in place, I make sure it's touching this side when I tighten it back up, and I know it's already balanced. It also has two different motor positions. It comes in this setup where the motor is up and behind the camera, but you can also take this part out if you want to. And all this does is drop the motor down lower into this position. You can see the back screen on the camera really well then. And actually I prefer this because I don't use a monitor, I just look at the back of the camera, just to keep the package that I film with really small. Now after moving the motor down to this lower point, I did wonder whether it would affect the performance. So I got in contact with Zhiyun and they said the performance is the same no matter which position you have that motor in. Also, when you do have the motor in the lower 45-degree position, it will still fit in the box. So if you're the kind of person who uses these boxes they supply, you can still use it no matter which position you have this back arm in. One other test I always like to do with gimbals to see how stable it is use progressively longer focal lengths. This is with the 17mm and no stabilization in camera. This is at 28mm on the long end of the Tamron 17-28. Then with the 35mm on a full frame camera with no stabilization in camera. After that I tried the 85mm with no stabilization. This is getting quite extreme for any gimbal and really does test the smoothness of these. And then this is with the 85mm in crop mode just to see what happens when we're this tight on that crop. And as I shot this on the A7C, I can then stabilize this in Catalyst Browse. And this is what it looks like with both the gimbal and Catalyst Browse stabilization. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember, this has absolutely no stabilization in camera, and the only one that has a bit of stabilization in post was the last one with Catalyst Browse. It also has the auto tune function, which is a way the gimbal works out how much power it needs to put into the motors for the camera that you have mounted on it. One thing that Zhiyun has always done is the 6-point calibration of these gimbals. So if you do find the gimbal is starting to drift out, especially in that locked off mode, you just need to calibrate it. All you need to do is put it into the different positions it tells you to, and then after this, it should solve any drifting you might be experiencing if you haven't calibrated it for a while, or if you're in a completely different location. It is a bit awkward the first time that you do it, and you're kind of wondering why it's not going on to the next step, and it looks like you've got the gimbal in the right position. But once it is in that position, it does step forward quite quickly. However, if the gimbal is drifting out, it's well worth doing this 6-point calibration. Now, the one standout feature of this gimbal is if you're a vertical shooter, so if you do stories here on YouTube or over at Instagram, you can take this off here. So you take that off and you can mount it in the vertical position. So instead of filming whatever you're filming and then cropping just down the middle, this gives you so much more resolution when filming for those vertical videos. At 4K, you get 3840 by 2160 pixels, but this crops down to 2160 by 1215 if you want to get that 9:16 ratio. Whereas when you have the camera in the vertical position, you get your resolution at 2160 by 3840, so no pixels lost. And also a lot wider shot for a given focal length. You do have to rebalance it in this position, but it doesn't take too long. And if you've been using gimbals for a while, you'll find that the balancing becomes almost second nature. Now with this mounting point here, it's not only for when you want to put your camera in that vertical position. Zhiyun have an accessory that fits in there. You've got a couple of cold shoes, you've got 3 20-inch threads, but also you've got a mounting plate for a second camera. So Using those cold shoes or the 1/4-20 threads, you can mount a wireless system, a microphone, and even a light if you're filming in really dark locations. It also comes with this plate, so it's another one of those Manfrotto plates, a little bit shorter than this bottom one, but this mounts to the top. So you can have a 2-camera setup on your gimbal, and the motors on this gimbal are powerful enough to cope with this. Now, in carrying this one-handed with 2 cameras on, it is pretty heavy, so you almost need another handle on it. Zhiyun have a bottom double handle, they also have a bottom single handle, but now they have a bottom big handle that sits up here. So this position is a little bit like the Weebill or the Zhiyun Crane 3. So you've got that second handle, and you can drop it down and bring it back up, and it gives you that nice leverage that you need to be able to move the gimbal about. Then, if you don't like that and you want one just to one side, in this position, you've got it as a double-handed gimbal. And it just means you can kind of share the weight between both of your arms. So you can see that Zhiyun are really pumping out the accessories for this, and they're making it really modular. One other thing with this as well, you can see you've got 1/4-20 threads all the way along this arm, and then you've got these 2 Rosetta kind of thread mounts here as well. So there's plenty of options for different mounting points. Now the motors have enough power that I think they'd handle bigger cameras with this setup as well. Now the clearance on the bottom, that could be a problem. I had to take off the L bracket from my A7 III to be able to fit it in. So the clearance between the top of this big long plate and the bottom of this top bit was 10.5 centimeters. So as long as your camera is less than 10.5 centimeters tall, you can get this second camera bracket. It will fit 2 A7 IIIs, it'll fit an A7 III and the A6600 or any of the A6000 cameras, and the A7 III and the A7C as well. These are all the setups that I've tried, and these are all the setups that work. And also, you won't be able to use the riser plate they supply when using this accessory either. So this accessory could be a no-go for really thick lenses like the 85mm f1.4, but it worked fine with my Tamron 17-28. Basically, any lens that doesn't protrude below the bottom of the camera will work just fine. Also, with the camera on top, I did have to keep the camera bare, so I didn't have any L brackets on it or anything else. It was just that one camera and nothing else at all, and quite a small lens as well. But this double camera setup is a lot of fun. You can do vlogging whilst filming something in front of you, you can film in 2 different directions, or you can shoot a wide and a close-up all at the same time. Obviously you have to have 2 cameras for this, and it starts getting pretty heavy, but the motors do handle 2 cameras really well. So this is just another cool way to use this vertical mounting point. Now there are a few things that I'd probably want changed on this gimbal. They aren't deal breakers, but they are a little bit annoying for me, and it's only fair in giving an unbiased opinion about this gimbal that I mention these to you. When you first get it, you have to register it before getting it to work. The motors won't even switch on until you register with the app. So if you do buy this, just make sure you've registered it before you go out into the wild to shoot. If you don't have any internet connection that first time you switch it on, you won't be able to use it. So just make sure you have an internet connection on your phone when you do turn it on that first time. Also, I wish it had come as standard with the motor in that low down position. Everyone else I know with this gimbal has taken that piece straight out. The only other thing is I just wish it came with an Arca Swiss quick release option. But this is just my personal preference, as I use Arca Swiss with everything. But with the Flexmount, if you use the Manfrotto plate, you can either mount another plate on the bottom of that Flexmount, or just take that top Manfrotto plate out. So it does have quite a few different options when you're using different systems. I think this gimbal is a good option if you're a videographer that uses a whole host of different cameras, from shooting personal projects with smaller cameras, say like the A7C or the A6000 series of cameras, right through to bigger productions and professional setups with maybe an FS6, the new Komodo Red, or say the 6K pocket camera. And as those motors are really powerful, you'd probably be able to use these bigger cameras with cinema glass, and also you'd be able to attach the focus puller accessory to it as well. As you build up that unit and as you add more and more to the gimbal, you'd probably want to put that second handle on it as well, But it's one of those systems that's really versatile and it's really modular, and it's great to see Zhiyun producing lots of different accessories for this gimbal. Now if you use a gimbal, let me know in the comments below how you get on with it. And also if you shoot hyperlapses or time lapses with your gimbal, let me know about that as well. It'll be great to hear about your experiences. Now if you like this video and you want to learn something else, click on this video next. Or if you want to binge watch a load of photography tutorials, click down here. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for weekly tutorials in photography and videography. I'll see you next time.